He did it again. Trump crashed the stock markets, the commodity markets, the crypto markets, the dollar. With the new tariffs on China, now we're here to pick up the pieces. Let's look at oil and the commodity where I think we have a great chance to buy right now because the fundamentals are really, really strong. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. All right, there's no sugarcoating this. Friday was brutal. Probably everybody lost a lot of money. I got absolutely taken to the cleaners in the crypto markets. I'm going to be honest here with you guys. The only thing that was holding up were the precious metals. Obviously gold, silver, makes sense, especially gold. But let's look at the situation from a technical aspect, from the charts, see where we are, and see what has really happened. And we're going to focus on oil because that was one of the big losers, breaking down. And after I said, hey, something is happening in the oil market, that made me look like a real idiot. I mean, I am an idiot, but you know what I mean. So what has happened? Look at the chart of oil. We clearly see the breakdown on Friday. Rough sell-off. But if we look at it, if we zoom out, we see as long as we don't fall between this zone right here, let me make this blue as I usually do. There we go. Nothing has really happened, right? So we basically hit exactly almost exactly the upper end of it. Let's see where this will balance itself out. Why is this blue zone so important? Because of what we have here. This was the zone where we ended up after we had the Trump crash in April after the tariffs were announced. So obviously oil super sensitive because, well, what happens now with China, with the economy? Do we get the trade war that everybody is talking about? Blah, 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 blah. Everybody's selling oil. Also, oil, one of the big losers so far in 2025. Let me zoom out so you know what I mean. Makes sense that you short this thing or sell it some more. Nobody wants to be invested in it. But I told you before, something is happening behind the scenes, and I'm not backing down on this. Maybe what we're seeing right now with this oil price crash will be the exact moment that the gold and silver miners had in April. I wouldn't be surprised if we come back here in like end of Q1 2026 and we'll be talking about, hey, Wilhelmi, you told us in October this was the turning point for oil and the oil stocks, and this washout is used by the smart money to get into oil and position themselves and pick up their positions in the oil stocks on the cheap. The beauty about the oil stocks, you buy those, you can hold them through any type of downtrend, down phase, because you get juicy dividends. So that makes a lot of sense, even better than buying the commodity itself. But as you can see, as brutal as the sell-off has been, as bad as it makes the chart look. Why does it make it look bad? Well, we basically made a new low since like 5-month low, basically. All right, we have now made a lower high, lower low. The downtrend continues. And the question is, does this support zone, this blue support zone hold? If it holds, things get really interesting, right? Because then we can really talk about a situation, and let me switch to the weekly because it makes it much clearer, of a double bottom, if you want to call this as one, which I would, because this is basically one move, right? The sell-off after the Trump tariff crash, rebound, retest, and we're good. So I consider this one move. So we'll have a double bottom formation that is, like, in technical terms, way clearer, way stronger than what we had before. So let's wait and take a look, and don't throw away the oil thesis yet. Right? And if you like this information, hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you don't miss what we're going to talk about now. Because what I want to talk about now is a metal that I know a lot of you guys hate. And when I say the name, you'll be like, boring. Well, I like to make money, and making money to me is not boring. And I believe we're going to make really good money in copper. Now, let's start with the daily. Copper looked great. And remember, I recommended to get in copper here. We were way in the plus. Nice profit. And then Friday came, nasty candle. But if you look at the technicals, really nothing has happened. We're still in the uptrend. Yeah, we're back in the uptrend channel, but that's not a problem. So everything is fine. But what we really have right now is a copper situation where we can buy copper basically at a price point that we didn't see we would reach again, which is around this former resistance zone, now support zone. I'll make this blue so you guys can see it a little better. That's excellent. So why do I like copper so much? Well, one of the things with the tariffs is that nobody really knows what the effect's going to be. Is there something else coming? How is this all going to play out? Which then leads us to, we don't really have a clear picture about the fundamentals. But with copper, we have some data on the supply side, and it's not good. We have major production problems in some of the biggest copper mines in the world since June. So in the past 4 months, we had numerous shutdowns and accidents. In the Kamoa-Kakula mine in Congo in June, floodings impacted the production really bad. One of the biggest mines in the world. Why can't they just call it like the Joe Smith mine? Why do they always have to give it these like names that nobody can produce? Quebrada Blanca in Chile, it's run by Teck, T-E-C-K, big commodity company. They had to reduce their copper production forecast 25 to 28 because of operational difficulties. Also, one of the biggest copper mines in the world. Now we already have 2 of the biggest copper mines in the world having supply problems. We also had in the Constancia in Peru, Constancia copper mine in Peru, that's run by Hudbay, problems with local protests. Now, I don't put much emphasis into that. Protests, they come and go in South America. That's kind of daily routine, so to speak. So let's leave that one out. We still have these other 2 major problems on the supply side. And then the big one came. The Grasberg mine in Indonesia, one of the biggest copper mines in the world. Production halted after worker accidents. It's so bad that Goldman Sachs cut their global copper supply forecast for 2026 by 270,000 tons. So that means even if the demand doesn't pick up because maybe of a trade war with China, on the supply side with copper, we have real constraints and real issues. And that gives us a safety net on the downside, but also gives us a nice upswing. And if you look at the copper chart, you see that this is clearly impacting the copper price, right? So you see the run-up we had in June when we had the problem with the copper mine Kamoa-Kakula. Look at me throwing this name out here. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, that is in Congo, but definitely not democratic. And then the other problems that came out that really formed the base and reignited the copper price. I believe this will continue. I believe the copper price is going up. So right now, copper fundamentally is one of the most attractive metals we can buy. It's not as overheated as gold or silver, but it has great fundamentals now because we have the supply constraints in our back as we bet on higher copper prices. If you like this content because we're talking about things beyond gold and silver, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, be so kind, help us out here. That's it for today. Now we're gonna assess in the next days what's happening. Is this a one-off in terms of the stock market reaction to it, and we get the same reaction that we had in April? Is this something bigger? Nobody knows at this point. Whoever tells you they know is lying. Let's be honest, because nobody knows. Pretty positive the White House doesn't know either what they're doing. So we're gonna stick with the facts. The facts are the technicals in copper continuously look excellent because, as you can see, the uptrend is absolutely intact, and we have great news on the supply side for us as long investors. And in oil, watch oil like a hawk. I'll still be buying oil stocks because of the dividends, because of these attractive dividends. I can sit out any downturn in oil. But nothing has happened there yet. We are at the support zone. As long as the support zone holds, the thesis of oil and oil stocks as the surprise story of 2026 is absolutely intact. That's it for today. Hit the subscribe button. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.